Hello, second graders. Today's an exciting day because all the hard work you've done, Monday, brainstorming, Tuesday, writing out your story, Wednesday, adding your detail to your story. It's now going to pay off because today, on Thursday, we are going to take the story we wrote in here and we're going to turn it into, and we're going to write it out on KidBlog so that we can publish it and our whole class can read it and enjoy it. So what I have to do is I need to get my notebook or my piece of paper where I wrote my story, my beginning, middle, and end. So here's mine, and I have my beginning right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this page to type out my story on KidBlog. So let me show you my screen so you can see what I've done so far on KidBlog. I went in, I clicked new post on the top, and I named my story. Because my story has to do with, remember, Sonia, Sammy, and Alex, my setting was at recess, and remember there's bullying happening between Sammy and Alex, and the solution is that Sonia stands up for Alex. So I decided to name it Recess Trouble. That's the name I came up with my story. I chose this picture from the heading, so I clicked add header and image, and I went to headers and I looked at all the pictures, and I thought the picture that made the most sense was this one, the one with the girl on a swing set, because it reminds me of recess. So once I pick it, it'll show up here, and then I have to click insert. So I have my picture for my cover of my story. It's about recess, so I thought it made sense. Recess trouble is what I called it. So now I started to type it out. So here, this part is my beginning. I typed it out. I wrote exactly what I have here. So I wrote, last year, Sonia and Sammy were playing at recess. They laughed and held hands as they skipped around the playground. I have it here too. Last year, Sonia and Sammy were playing at recess. They laughed and held hands as they skipped around the playground. I will be checking, do I have a capital letter to start my sentence? Do I have a period to end my sentence? Yes, yes, and yes. So I started with a capital, I ended with a period. I started with a capital, and I ended with a period. Nice. Now I can go on to my middle. This is the middle of my story. So if I turn my page, then I'm going to go to my middle, okay? So see here I have my middle. I'm going to write everything that I have here, just as I want it. So I'm going to make sure I write all of a sudden, Sonia and Sammy ran into Alex. Sammy yelled, "Go away, Alex. You're gross and no one likes you." Some people snickered and pointed at Alex. Sonia watched tears fill Alex's eyes. So you'll see that's exactly what I typed here. And I even put like a little space. So I went like this. I clicked enter to give myself a space in between my beginning and my middle. So I have all of a sudden Sonia and Sammy ran into Alex. Look, I started with a capital and I ended with a period. Then I started with a capital. Sammy yelled, "Go away, Alex! You're gross and no one likes you." And I ended with an exclamation point, which is my punctuation. Then I started with a capital. Some people snickered and pointed at Alex. Uh-oh, pointed at Alex. Sonia watched tears fill her eyes. I forgot a period. Uh-oh, I gotta add my period in there. That's why we reread. Then I started with a capital. Sonia watched tears fill Alex's eyes, and I ended with a period. Okay, now I'm ready to go to my end. Okay, so this is my ending. So I'm going to turn my page to the side that says end. And I need to make sure I type out everything that I have in here. So what it should have is, afterwards, Sonia said, "Hey, that is mean. You need to treat her with kindness." A smile started to appear on Alex's face. Sammy was surprised and then she felt bad, so she apologized and asked Alex to play with them. Let's see if that's what I typed out and wrote on KidBlog. Afterwards, Sonia said, "Hey, that is mean. You need to treat her with kindness." See how I started with a capital and I ended with a punctuation? I chose an exclamation point because that's how I want people to read it. Then I started with a capital. A smile started to appear on Alex's face. And I ended with a period. And then I start with another capital. Sammy was surprised and then she felt bad, so she apologized and asked Alex to play with them. And I ended with a period. Okay, guys, I wrote out my beginning, I wrote out my middle, and I wrote out my end. I'm good to go, guys. I finished my story. The last step after you type out your whole story is read it one time through just to make sure that it makes sense. Sometimes we accidentally type so fast that we make mistakes. So let me just read it one more time just to give the go ahead and be ready to publish. So I said, last year, Sonia and Sammy were playing at recess. They laughed and held hands as they skipped around the playground. All of a sudden, Sonia and Sammy ran into Alex. Sammy yelled, "Go away, Alex. You're gross and no one likes you." Some people snickered. Ooh, I said snickers. I meant snickered. Good thing I was rereading. Some people snickered and pointed at Alex. Sonia watched tears fill Alex's eyes. Afterwards, Sonia said, "Hey, that is mean. You need to treat her with kindness." A smile started to appear on Alex's face. Sammy was surprised, and then she felt bad, so she apologized and asked Alex to play with them. I think it makes sense. It's all good to go. If you want, you can go ahead and add your pictures in the middle. So like, remember when I showed you how you can add a picture by clicking on this like mountain and sun thing, and you can go to where it says take a picture, and you can take a picture of your you can take a picture of the drawings that you made. You can always do that if you would like, okay? This week I'm not going to do that just to save time, but you can if you want to add your pictures so we can see your beginning, middle, and end pictures in between all of these. But if not, it should look something like this: your beginning, your middle, your end. When you're ready, make sure that your background makes sense. Make sure that your cover picture makes sense, that you've made a title, and then you can go ahead and click publish once you're finished with everything and it looks good for everybody to read. Make sure you publish to the class as well, okay? So I'm going to click publish, and it says post published up here. So I know I'm good. Now I can go into 2D writing, or wherever, if it's Miss Smith's class, you'll see yours, and it'll be here. Recess Trouble by the author, Daniela, and who is it to? The whole class. Class members can see. All right, guys, so now it's your turn. You are going to go onto KidBlog. Take your papers with you because you're going to need them. Type out your beginning, type out your middle, and type out your end in your story so that we can see. And then don't forget to read it one time through to see, does it sound okay or no? And then publish. All right, guys, I can't wait to see them on KidBlog, and tomorrow we will get to celebrate and read them, okay? So type those up so we can read them tomorrow. Can't wait to see them.